Me. That's who we just saw. That's who we just saw. So it just basically, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to impromptu go live because, you know, other Geminis can do this. Me being one of them. But, you know, I just was like, I'm watching some guy, some criminal, pedo, assaulter of a man who's president of the United States do his thing. So I'm like, why can't I'll just go live? Because I'm none of those things. I'm just Nicholas, an astrologer who speaks freely on my channel, and I'm inspired at certain times to do a surprise live stream to talk about the new moon in Sagittarius and other things. And risking it on my channel, risking some of you followers and new people who might hate me after my rants tonight, if I even go there. So welcome here to a surprise live stream. Anybody's going to be jumping in. Hi. Please say hi in chat. Let me know if you can hear the mic correctly. Let me know if I'm coming in loud and clear. And I'll wait for some people to jump in. I'll wait for some people to jump in while I technically get it together. Okay, so let me do that. Say what's up in chat and let me know how things are sounding, okay? You go to the chat there on the right-hand side or on mobile. You should see it right there. And let's do this. Let me get my switcher. Hey, Big Les, a channel member. What's up, my friend? How are you? How's it going? How is everything? Chad's in the house too. I got 2 of my channel members that are coming in here and saying what's up. And Courtney, good to see you there. Yeah, you know, it's interesting with people, because I think those of you watching live and those watching later, you kind of know, or not kind of know, you know when someone's fragile. You know when someone's weak. Someone is vulnerable, right? And it's funny because certain people in your life, you know when this is happening because they're doing repetitive things. They got body language twitching or whatever. Now, what you're seeing here is someone, a president who just went on to do a big speech, and all it was me. And all of it, 90% of it is false. So that's when you know someone is on the edge of insecurities and has been their whole life, right? And then you see them pull off moves like this. Now, somebody were to say like, oh, you know, I don't think President of the United States is a 29-degree Leo rising, is a Virgo rising, and there's proof tonight that there's a 29-degree Leo ascendant going on here. Okay, so let's just get that off. I'll pull the chart up in a second because it's a random thing. So saying that, usually when you see people do types of things when it's all about themselves, it's because they are extremely fragile. Extremely fragile. It's like this. It's not like this. It's like this. You know what I mean? So while he's in diapers taking a shit in his pants every day, I'm going to do a stream to talk about the new moon in Sagittarius that's happening and whatever else is going to pop on my mind just because I feel like doing this, and I haven't been live for a long time, so that's what's going on. My channel, Scorpio Muse is here. All my channel members showed up and said what's up. Good to see some of you in other parts of the world for the random. I don't know if there isn't going to be many people who are going to jump in on this stream. That's not why I'm doing it. I just needed to press go live because I have the ability to do this, and other people do too, and they got millions of people watching them. I have 12 right now watching me live, and that's just fine, just dandy to do that. So let's go on. Let's take a look at the current selection. The current time, I got my little way of doing this here. Am I going to do everything off a small screen? I am. Hey now. Those are the transits for right now. As I do this stream, which started around 6:31 p.m. We're at 6:36. We could see the moon is in Aries, applying to, or excuse me, what am I saying? Moon in Aries. Moon in Sagittarius here pretty much at retrograde degrees. If you do not remember, when Mercury first stationed retrograde 40 some days ago or whatever it was, more than that, it stationed retrograde at 6 degrees. Now, saying that, we've had an interesting 48 hours because Mercury was at 6 degrees starting on Monday, doing the stream, and here it is at 6. Now, the moon's coming up on this to push the situation. And here is one of the reasons why to go live, because I think we're in the balsamic phase, moon phase, and we're about to do the new moon. But I think the Mercury and Sagittarius part that is the unbalanced part, not the whole part at this point, but the unbalanced part, I think in a balsamic phase with the moon coming through will expose something like that and will bring on pontification. So saying that, let's just say like why I decided to stream 15 minutes ago when I was watching the buffoonery, the ghoulish president and the other ghouls that are under him really pushing and pulling the levers. It's not him deciding it. It's a bunch of jacked up, weird, freaky Christian white nationalists. They're ghouls. So saying that, these ghouls and their messaging this week and what's going on, we can see the bullshit that's going on, and let's point out where we can see bullshit in the chart. By the way, disclaimer, it doesn't mean that you, a Mercury and Sagittarius, are full of bullshit and a ghoul. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying from an example, you could see buffoonery, insecurity, and like fragileness. So I'll just go off the top of my head here. Let's do this. Hey, I want to welcome to Ancient Mitten and Rayfei and Violet Contact and Jock. Hello, what's happening? Hello, thanks for joining me on a surprise stream. Let's just look at the current transits. I think it's very interesting too, because what I'm going to do here actually is get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of the aspect set and make it blank. And I'm going to go, what is happening here? There's the moon doing its thing, trying to close out a moon phase here, but it's on Mercury and it's like, what's it applying to? Now, you see the nodes at 12 degrees here, and Mercury is waxing towards this big square that's going to happen between Mercury in the north and the south node. That officially is going to happen on Saturday Pacific time at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Mercury will square the nodes. In my weekly forecast and in my monthly forecast, I talked about how what the word is and the truth, what can happen here, full moon and going into the weekend when Mercury squares the nodes. And this is where you have to pay attention to who learned something during the retrograde and what they're saying. You're also going to see situations like you just did on national TV, where it is a complete and utter manufactured fabrication based on fragility. Maybe small penis size. Maybe because they're scared of the vagina when it comes down to the end. Regardless, it affects every part of their being and the president, and they're going to pontificate and say certain things, and they've been doing this repetitively, so you get pissed off and you get used to it, so it becomes normal. Do not let this become normal. You need to see the truth behind this. You're also going to see people speak the truth, but this is the week for it. There are those who figure out what the Mercury retrograde was about when it is in Scorpio, and they figure it out where to go and condense the microscopic truth at the heart of things, which Mercury and Scorpio is so good at. And now that it's moving through and moving forward in Sag, now when you talk to a balanced Mercury and Sagittarius, when they are flowing on all cylinders, they will speak the truth in a way where it is the bigger picture. It's not just some distinct thing, but it has ramifications, and you see the bigger picture of what the truth is being portrayed, the big picture of it all. And they'll do it in a way that's digestible and for you to understand, not that it's word salad and all over the place, because they learned during the retrograde not to do that, and they get scattered in 50 billion places. So there are those who figure it out and there are those who don't. And so I want you to know, we just had something on national TV where it's complete bloviating and complete bullshit. Now, look to your personal life and other things here in the next 4 days, whether it's you or other people you know, to actually speak truth to power and to a big vision in a way that is uplifting and hopeful, right? And the truth. And if it's a situation where there is a certain type of hard, cold truth, Mercury in Sagittarius, when it's running on a balance all cylinders, can have the timing to do this, where it does seem shocking, because if you talk to any Mercury in Sagittarius, sometimes they'll just kind of say something and it just hits you like an arrow, right? It's just like the intention behind it, or the way it is done, or the timing, it's either way off or it's right on point. And I feel like this week, with some situations, it's finally on point after a bunch of missed arrow shots in the last month and a half. We just saw one of the biggest missed arrow shots on national fucking streaming TV, or wherever you watch it. I had to watch it because I wanted to see what's bullshit, and actually it's a cover-up. Because they're trying to get into Venezuela. The Epstein files are supposed to, more of the files are supposed to come out in the next 48 hours. It's all covering up. It's all trying to make things look positive from what they just did on national TV as a government, when it's really an insult to your intelligence and to your being. So you have to find the messaging from somewhere else, either right now or sometime this week, what the truth really is, and stand in that and use that to propel yourself into next year. So saying that, that's my quick little something. There's Mercury with the moon applying here to hit Mercury, and eventually here in the next day. If I look at this, today is the 17th. We just had we have Moon Mercury at 2 in the morning coming up. Pacific time is going to finally do the conjunction. Its moon's going to square the nodes tomorrow. We might as well just look at this because I can speed it up. We'll go like this. We see now the moon already squared the nodes at like, it looks like at 9:23 a.m. Pacific that the moon squares the nodes after it passes Mercury right here. And it's on its way to its conjunction with Venus, which will happen into Friday. And that's when we get into the lunation, and I will pull that chart up. Hey, I want to say what's up to T. Goet, greetings to you, and McClellan's in the house saying hello in chat. All right, so saying that, and feel free to share this or press the hype button on Mopal just to push this out. Now, as we're looking at this, here's Thursday at 6:36 p.m. Pacific. You could see that the moon's getting closer here. But let's point out a couple things. We got to know that Saturn is moving forward slowly. It's about to take a major step forward here very soon to 26 degrees. We know Neptune here is at a standstill, but slowly moving. And these two, basically at the end of January and the beginning of February, will finally go into Aries. Okay, so just to paint the picture for some of you. Let's also point something else out here. You could see here that Venus is at 22 Sag, and if those of you who have a Chiron story, you're having Chiron return, you're in your early 50s, or you're somebody with Aries, right, 20 to 23 degrees Aries, we could see this interesting Venus and Sag trying to Chiron. I have to throw that in there because I can't ignore something like that, okay? And notice that I'm using purple. I updated my software and I have lots of purple. It makes me very happy. So then we'll get into the lunation, and let me call that up, all right? And then I'm gonna get into what I said on my video earlier this week and on my monthly for my members who had the access to that. Let's look here while I do this. We will look here, December 19th. We'll pull up the chart there. Did I get this? It's true. It's true. So here we see at 28 degrees at Friday, December 19th, Pacific time at 5:43 p.m. The 20th and some other places, we have the new moon, and we see that Neptune here is throwing its square on this, and so it can get real deceptive. It can get really weird. It's already happening. Jupiter rules this lunation, as Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and of Pisces, by the way. So Jupiter is the focal point of this situation in my mind. Now, there's other aspects to this. It's this Venus-Saturn square that is a massive part of the lunation and a part of the week. And this is where I'm happy that Saturn is involved, because Saturn always... Have you ever, in the astrology world, related the planet Saturn to fabrication, mental fabrication, deception, and lies? Never. Now, it might be dealing with it in the last 2.5 years of the reconstructing of the self-deception that can happen in the Pisces world, or how they'll deceive themselves or attach to an external story, an internal story that is not themselves. So they become that as water permeates anything that it touches, and they identify with that self. That could be a type of self-deception. But Saturn doesn't deceive. Saturn just shows you the whole card, the truth, whether you like it or not. So here Saturn is squaring Venus. So regardless of the bloviating and the possible tangential of off-balance Sagittarius energy, we have Saturn kind of holding Venus and the sun and the moon and all this to be like, no. You can't get past the truth of it all. And it's here where I think the moon, after passing Venus, kind of maybe learns a lesson. And maybe Mercury here starts to really speak it because it learned. That's what I'm reiterating to you. There's other people in other situations that don't, who is just on national television. And all the other people in the administration and all the other followers, they can only mask for so long. Their whole agenda is, as a matter of fact, if you listen to that and you go look at it, most of what they were saying was a reverse of what they've said or done. They're saying we did this, we did that. No, they were saying other governments, people, past presidents were corrupt and made the nation broke. No, you're doing that. It's the biggest piece of lying trash that you'll hear in a long time, even though it happens every day. Don't let it throw you off. Don't let it throw you off, because in the end, and just because, you can't let things get in the way to distract you. If you talk to anybody, especially a Mercury in Gemini or Mercury Sagittarius and Mercury in Pisces, they are masters of deceiving you with messages. Now, what's the intention behind it? Are they doing it? Like for me, I have learned, and I pay the price, I have learned to do deception for the good if I'm going to do it. Like playfully tell you that I'm going to trick you into doing this to believe in your dreams positively. I do it with my clients all the time. Now, if I was living in the other realm and I said, I'm going to lie to you, I'm going to convince you, I'm going to gaslight you, I'm going to da-da-da, and I'm going to come up with the most, in a sense, extravagant words with a lot of adverbs and adjectives that sound so grandiose and so big. And it sounds, and it's supposedly supposed to feel that way, but you know inside that it isn't that way, that it doesn't feel that way. And if a Mercury and Sagittarius type of situation was doing that, you call it out. The worst thing you can do to people is to not believe what they're saying and tell them, or is this. You just turn around and walk the other way. Like you don't even pay attention to them. It's the worst thing you could do to any fire sign who's unbalanced, is you don't pay them the mind. Is you just, nah. If news agencies, internet profiles, and everything, did you hear what so-and-so the president said? Did you hear what blah, blah, blah? And everybody piles on, and the social media structures based on caustic arguments, and that is hitting your serotonin in your brain, and hence, here we are, 14 years later, at the end of a Neptune and Pisces transit, 14 years of so-called building cohesiveness as a world with the internet and the illusion behind it. And here you see the truth 14 years later of what it is now. Most of it isn't real. So when you're biting and getting pissed off, and when you're getting caught up in an argument on the internet and comments and blah, blah, you're getting nowhere. You're spinning your wheels. Your adrenals are fried. You're mad. You're frustrated. When is this going to end? I'll tell you when it ends. It ends when you decide what the truth is and what type of truth that you want to incorporate in your world. It is inherently the Sagittarian journey, is to seek distant lands of truth. It's to seek something that you saw far away and want to know everything about, and the knowledge that comes through the journey to that point. But what if the journey, what if the path that you chose was an illusion? What if you found yourself detoured and you don't even know that you were detoured way back when? But if your body, parts of your heart, your body, something else is telling you that's off, you have to trust more than what's up here. You have to trust something else and get back to something else. Now that is the truth. And we have structures and we have things and tools we use to get us back to that place. Maybe it's a prayer. Maybe it's a poem that you write, or creativity. Maybe you shut everything out and you find the place where you're at home, where you feel free to walk towards something, or what not just your mind tells you, but what your heart, what your intuition is telling you. And can you take all those things and put it together and be your guiding light, your guiding force? That's part of the Sagittarian story. There's the instinctual part of the half centaur, the half animal, half human, and human at the top. The animal's running on guttural instinct and doing wildness. The top part of being human is to take it into why we do what we do. It's past the instinctual. It's the philosophical. And can you merge those two? And that's what usually leads us to some sort of personal truth that we walk and that we live by. So remember, we don't just stay on the gutter or on the animal part, and we can't just stay at the top part. You have to merge the two. And when that is happening, one sees their path. Now, when you see other people distracting you politically, or corporations that distract you, or to do all this stuff, they're preying on your separateness. They're preying on your separateness from mind, heart, and body. We don't do that anymore. We know what the truth is. You just have to look on the screen. I'm putting the ultimate truth up here about the guy who was just talking. The biggest distraction. Now, if I'm talking to you as an individual and how you're processing and how you're finding yourself here after this whole year, or after a 14-year Neptune and Pisces transit, I know you're over it. And don't get me started, like I've been on Rants here with other things in the astrology world and social media and what's happened in 14 years. There's been an immense benefit of the sharing of knowledge and what's happened or whatever. But you see what it's turned into now? You have to sift through astrology posts to get to the truth of something that has a quality that's not based on showing off how much you know, or competition, or backstabbing, or preying on your insecurities, talking about Mars and Saturn and malefics, or whatever formula they did, regardless of the political party, or whether they call themselves a right-winger, a leftist, an anti-capitalist, or whatever else. They're all using the formula to try to prey on your emotional fucking insecurity so you buy something, so you follow them, so you do whatever. How much more do you? I don't want to do that anymore. I don't do this on this channel. It's the reason why I don't have as many followers. But I don't give a fuck, because I know my truth, my code, what I'm going to stick by. You do too. And if you have forgotten something like that, you know at this time that everything has to change. So whether it's the astrology world, politics, whatever the social media structure thing, it is not working anymore. And so, as I started to talk about myself or you, and now I will talk about the collective, I'll get to chat in a second. The collective, I think the Saturnian need for a container and to like have to look at the bigger picture, but in a condensed way, is what we have with Saturn in the mix on this during this transit. And the benefits here, even though Jupiter is retrograde and it rules the Sag stuff, I think it's here where we have to think from a collective point of view, because in Cancer, it's where we come from. It's like our crew, our family, our friends, or whoever we consider family. And I think a lunation like this gets to a point of what's real and what's not in those situations, whether it's individuals in your world that were close, but they're not aligned with you. They're not aligned with you in what way? What's the code and philosophy that you're running in with your crew, yourself, your family, your friends. Are you all aligned? It doesn't have to be perfect. But in situations like this year, when we get to a point here at the end of the year and it's a lunation like this, with getting out of a Mercury retrograde, I feel like this new moon is like, you speak the truth and you know what you have to go and have to leave behind. And sometimes there's people there who you trusted and love, but you're not aligning anymore. Trying to hold on to something or trying to repair it and fix it. But you realize they're not walking with the same code. You don't believe in the same things anymore. Or you sort of do, but it's more about, that's not just appearance, the actions that need to be taken here very soon. Because there's a lot of action that's going to be taken as soon as we hit January. And you can't, we just did a bunch of water transits, water trines in a retrograde and all this stuff, and everybody had to go back in the past and they had to think about shit. And and the tears that have been shed in the past, not just this year, but for the last 14 years in the Piscean part of your chart. So at this point, you can't keep a certain story or narrative going on. And then if you know that you have to change and move forward, well, who's with you? Who is with you in that? Who are you aligned with? Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but steps need to be taken. And a lot of times when you're about to take the steps, you're halfway through. You're still mourning the past, and you know you have to take a step forward. And that, to me, is what this new moon is all about. Who's your crew? Who's your family? Are they aligned with your bigger belief, Sag? Is there structure with Saturn in all this? Like maybe, like I said this on my forecast, sometimes you got to write it down and you're like, or it's like, it could be old school. We could talk about something like, oh, we're aligned, but it doesn't mean anything. It means something when there's ritual. Maybe it's some dudes, they're like, they still believe in a trustworthy handshake. And it's like, hey, check it in. We're about to leave this era. We're about to leave this thing. Are we together? Are we of the same something? Is still accepting our differences? Are we still in the same core place of what we believe in? You are? Let's do it. Maybe it has to be written down. And it's like, sign your name on a dotted line. That's Saturn. It's like, that's that. Like, you're not only saying it, proclaiming it, it's like you're etching it in stone. So in order for things to move forward and to carry over, sometimes you have to sign the contract. You have to etch it. You have to tattoo it. You have to put it into something. You have to create the ritual and put it into form, or the beginnings of form, instead of just this. It's easy to do this. It's not easy when you start to put it in a form. There's usually, for the most part, fear in that kind of thing, or you don't know exactly what's going to happen. But actually, Saturn kind of forces you to make it happen, so you eventually get rid of the different types of anxiety scenarios. You have to put it into form. So saying that, as in the top of my head type of thing, we need form and structure, and that's what Saturn gives us. And we're lucky after 2.5 years. After 2.5 years here, and Saturn about to go into Aries, I think there's a lot of knowledge sitting over there with that transit, even with Neptune there. If you can get and understand, where deception is and where, let's say, clear the fog. Something like that. I think it takes a while down the line when Neptune goes into Aries, when we do the conjunction in February, but as we go into the year, we go into next year, we'll realize, fully see the effects of what Neptune and Pisces have done for us as a collective. Now, I'm not saying it's all been negative, but I'll tell you, from a social media angle, from the internet angle, and what it's done, if you look back, I can look it up now, whether it's Instagram that started pretty much the year before Neptune went into Pisces, the major transition that happened from MySpace right before Neptune went into Pisces, MySpace was the top. social media and Facebook was about to come in and take over, and that's what they did. We know, for those who were around using social media, the massive transition that happened with Facebook and Meta, right? And eventually Instagram and TikTok and everything. But we come to now of how we're relating to each other. Can I find positive bits? Sure. This whole YouTube streaming thing, we can all find it. But if I see what has brought us conflict or anxiety as people, as how we interact with each other collectively, I see the illusion more than anything else. So that's my personal thing on this channel. But I like that these two are together right now. So from now all the way into January, I think it's very important to sign your name on the dotted line of what you're going to commit with, at least up here. And then when we get to a certain place, and I'll show it to you, I think it's massive what happens in the first 10 days, a little bit more of January. I want to say hello to people that joined in on here. Let me catch up here. I don't know how many people have jumped in here, but Wild Magi, what's up? Hi, how are you? Jog3131's in here. Susie has decided to join in, and Dora Destroy just threw a super chat on me. Thank you so much for that super chat, Dara. So is social media gone? No, but it's changing. And I'm even, it's funny, where I'm getting the most kind of interesting stuff happening is YouTube, but on a personal level, my personal Facebook page, a lot of the Pluto and Virgo, Pluto and Libras and Pluto and Leos, they're still on that platform, and there's some sort of change happening up on there. I've been seeing some people share information in a way that's been pretty good, like the old way, but still it's messed up. As a matter of fact, Facebook is testing a thing right now where they might make it like where if you have to get a blue check mark in order to share an actual link and get the traction that you want. It's crazy. So it's changing. So for me, I will tell you, and Lillian, hello in chat. Their birthday is tomorrow. And yeah, right before the new moon, depending on their solar return. Happy birthday, Lillian. So saying that, we get into Saturday, and here's the 20th. And here's where we actually have, now you see Mercury's past the square, but I think this is truth-telling week, or the truth is revealed type of week. As in, we just had somebody on TV or on the streaming services so-called speaking the truth, but it's one big lie. We're seeing the differentiation from it all. And I think we push through the fog and the illusion here. Even though Mercury's squaring the nodes in the eclipse story, I think because of Mercury's journey the last 2 months, we're seeing the truth. Now, let me stop here for a second. I did this on my Instagram earlier. Basically, the weekend that Mercury stationed retrograde, like right before that it did. And I'm going to pull up this chart here in a second. I just want to show you something. It was here. And basically, the November 9th is when Mercury stationed retrograde at 6 degrees. You see it right here. It was with Mars, remember? It was right around this time that there was the 11 to 12 Democratic politicians who deviated from the party and decided to go back with the Republicans to make sure the government shutdown was over. And the Republicans said, because the majority of the Democrats were like, we're not going back until you put something on the table that has to do with the Obamacare and has to do with the subsidies, because they're going to end this year and the Republicans don't want to keep it. They don't want to fund it. They don't want to vote for it. And they're doing anything they can not to do it. And so basically, these Democrats, in my opinion, were scared, and they got the government shutdown to stop with the promise that the Republican Party would do the vote on this. And here we are in the last 48 hours where they're putting things in and it's getting shut down. And we had a massive thing happen today. We had 4 Republican senators deviate from the Republican Party to force the type of vote. But basically what's happening here is the Republicans don't want it to happen, and they're trying to get out for vacation by Thursday. And so nothing's been guaranteed, nothing's been voted on. And what now, I thought it was a mistake by the 12 Democrats to leave, you know, the cohesiveness of the party and hold out to force the Republicans to deal with shit. But they didn't, and I thought it was a mistake. And they did it right here around this time. And so what we have here in the last 48 hours, let me show you, we have the last, I'll just go by the day. Here's Monday. And where's Mercury? 5 degrees. Here's the next day. 6 degrees. When this first happened. Are we seeing the truth of things? Not just by the Republican Party, but from those in the Democratic Party who deviated. The whole farce of it all. And, you know, right now, today, until tomorrow, is a massive critical, because if something doesn't get pulled off, those subsidies are gone. And that's what the Republican Party wants, right? They had something today to extend it for 3 years. Didn't happen. So here we are. Is it a fatal mistake? And does it happen down the line, as in if something doesn't get passed? We're seeing massive premium jumps in health insurance. It's really bad. I don't have to tell you about this if you're living in a state. But the byproduct of this goes later on. It actually goes into the elections. And if the byproducts we start to see a major breakdown in the healthcare system for those who can't afford it, can't afford health insurance, it doesn't matter. When it gets down to your health, it doesn't matter what party that you're part of. It changes everything. So, you know, we remember this week for later on next year when it comes to like local elections, midterm elections, all that stuff, when we get to next November. To this particular point in time, you know what, actually, just because I'm on a rant, let's just look at something here. I'm really curious. Let's look at, I'm going to go the way to November. I'm going to say it's November, it's probably the Tuesday of November 10th of 2026. So I haven't even looked at this. So let's just go look at it. I'm just curious to see what the transits are going on that day, election day. We got Scorpio Sun, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. Noted. Okay, first of all, we're going to note this because we just did this. But here's the thing. We got Venus retrograde happening. We have a Mars set up here, by the way, which is going to go into Virgo briefly and come back to do a retrograde at the end of next year, beginning of 2027. Okay, but you could see here, I haven't even looked, I'm like, holy shit, there's a massive Jupiter South Node conjunction that happens there. Wait a second, let me do something else here. Let me open a chart. I'm really curious. I will pick if he's still around. We have a massive thing happening here because he's having a Mars return. And that will eventually turn retrograde here, but that is actually very dangerous right there. That Jupiter South Node, that is not necessarily the best thing. Just like a Saturn South Node type of thing, that is not the nicest of transits. That's an energy suck right there. I just needed to do that really quick. You can see the nodes are right on his ascendant. We have a Uranus retrograde at 4 degrees. That's pretty much opposite where Mercury is right now, almost, I think it is, yeah. You can see the moon that day is in Sagittarius, or right around where we're doing the stream. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Regardless, I think the consequences of this week doesn't go away. I don't feel as positive for it in the next 24 hours. That was a weird chart to look at. Huh. That was a weird chart to look at. Right there. Actually, let's go by, I'm curious. That if it's Mars is at 23 and there's 25 there, that tells me something else. That tells me that on August 12th is the solar eclipse at 20 degrees. There's the thing there. There's the 4 Piscean eclipse that's on the 27th. There's Jupiter right there. That doesn't make sense to me. And then wait. That's what I need. I need Mars stations retrograde on the 10th and 2027 at 10 Virgo, right there. That means it's going to go back. Let me see something here. That's 20. That's forward on that chart. Yeah, let's take a look. So basically, there's the February. There's 10 on the ascendant. There it is. There it is right there. It's in April there that basically we have Mars. It goes all the way back to hit that Jupiter South Node thing. So basically, Jupiter is going to hang around the South Node for a long time. And there's, all right, enough of that. Enough of that weird, crazy on-the-fly research that we're just doing right there. Now, let me go to chat because I need to see this. Purple Allegria is here. Okay, so saying that, we're going to go back to the lunation. We'll pick this one. And the new moon. We'll keep track here that we see on the Saturday, just to do, so for those of you, if I leave this, I don't know if I'm going to leave this stream up, we could see here, this is December 8th, Tuesday. What the hell? That's 2026 I picked. Hold on a second, I'm a year behind, and we're going to go all the way back to right now. Just jumped a year in the future, man. There, that's the lunation. We're going to point out here on the next day or two. Hold up. I'll pick the 21st right here to finish. We also know Jupiter is going to do its connection to Chiron, so those Chiron story, and we pretty much here have the solstice that's going to happen on Sunday. I was going to go live on Sunday, but I'm going to do this here. We have that. Mercury here is not going to go into Capricorn until the 1st of January, so just note that. I think it is there that we get into the interesting place, and we'll get to the first right here. You could see Mercury here at 1 degree, and I think now it's on. It's perfect for the new year for those who want to establish things like I think most people do. But we see the conjunction with the sun and what the sun's about to do with Mars here. And I think it's an amazing beginning of the year. If you're looking for something and you're looking and you got to use Capricorn stuff for Saturnian types of mentalities, you got it. You have it here. If you don't know how to do this, try. Because I feel that with something like this, with Mars being there and Venus, you'll have people say it's in the beams of the sun and it doesn't have its strength, but it secretly does in my mind. There is a rebirth happening there with Venus and Mars, especially Mars. You have something like that, and Mercury is going to bring up the rear basically on the transit. So if we go day by day, you could see here, hell, I could do it this way. I could do Venus conjunct Sun. That happens on the 6th. You could see it right there. You see where Mercury is? And then if I pick Mars conjunct the Sun, it happens on the 9th, which you could see right here. And look at that. We have a triple conjunction that happens. If you have anything in cardinal degrees, this is a pretty big transit. If you want to focus on your Capricorn house, this is a great time to do it. You could see here we're at the 9th of January, and everything that we've gone through in the last 3 months with all the mutability and all the water and all that kind of stuff, it has to be put into tangible physical manifestation form through action and foundation building and everything. And this is rare stuff right here. So take advantage of something like this. If you need to wade through the past or let go, or you need to push away that fake ass illusionary bullshit that's in your life, or whatever it is, or the stories that you know have to be done, I'm telling you, a little place like this with Mercury there, and you know, we could keep going forward in the transits and pay attention to Mercury day by day as it gets closer. We see Venus moves through Mars in the sun, but Venus, here comes Mercury at 19 degrees, pretty much where it happens. We're at January 14th, and you see Mercury speeding up and picking up the rear and hitting the degree where the conjunction is. And you still have Mars, Sun, Venus, right? And then it's, you know, it's not only that, you have Saturn. If to pay attention here, you have Saturn at 27 degrees, and you see here that how Jupiter is locked in on all this the whole time as an opposition. That is something. But remember, it rules this. And this little sextile with Saturn and all the Capricorn planets that are going to happen at 27 degrees, 29 degrees Neptune, this isn't illusionary anymore. This is opportunity to branch the past 2.5-year story and even 14-year story in Pisces, and to culminate it and change it and learn the lessons and to solidify something new that's coming your way with the Capricorn planets. So this is where you see how you use stuff. If you're confused during mutability and all this Mercury retrograde and the nodal stuff, you get to a place like this where it actually means something, and you take the truth that you've acquired the last 2 months and the emotional swimming that you've had to do and the goodbyes, and then you move forward and you put it into something else. And here it is, you know. And it's not too long after that, if we keep going, since I'm on a tangential, see, you could see right here, we're gonna have the Venus sextile Saturn. You see at 27 degrees with Saturn there, we got water, earth. Your sun's gonna do it, Mars is gonna do it, Mercury's gonna do it. It's like a step-by-step process with the inner body planets. What else do you want? And Jupiter is in on the game, going, hey, who's your family? Who's your crew? Who are you gonna bring forth? Where are you going? What do you leave behind? What do you take with you? From a lineage, ancestry perspective, off the top of my head. And then as we go here, I'll stop here very soon, I want to show you what then is going to happen. Then we have Venus going to trine, or excuse me, sextile Neptune. And then right there we have it on the 17th. We're already almost toward the end of the month. The sun, and all of a sudden, then it gets weird. As in, we start to do the yearly march of planets that will go through Pluto after this. So if you're looking for a palate cleanser after all this, we're gonna get it with everything moving through Pluto at the end of January to set us up for the eclipses. So saying that, I wanted to show you this and what was on my mind, and to do a surprise live stream and talk off the top of my head. Right. astrosteph.com is in here, and Leanne Patterson, good to see you. Karen's Corner, thank you. Natal Venus at 8, Ascendant's Cap. Oh wow, hey, good for you. You're looking for something, you Capricorn. That's it right there. These transits are coming your way, and I see you guys supporting each other in the chat. I am going to make some decisions here during the first week of January, and we'll be culling my social media and just streamlining things. The Patreon, I think I found one of 2 options now. I'm gonna have like a side group, a place for us to chat and all that. I'm deciding on 2 different places for my members to go to. I'll decide, I think, and publicly do it in January. What else is going on? There's a big podcast that's about to get published next week that I'm a part of, and it was unexpected, and I can't wait for you all to see it. It's a different kind of podcast, interesting way of doing astrology. I'm with some other guests, I can't wait to publish that. You're going to see it. I also want to mention to my YouTube channel members and my Patreon members at the $5 and $10 tiers, YouTube, I'm opening up my Zoom room for an open house on Sunday for those channel members, Patreon members. I'll open it up and we'll talk about whatever. That will be on Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I think here I'm going to get a little bit of a time to finally finish 2 videos and 2 interviews I did with 2 other astrologers in Australia. Hopefully get one of those done before Christmas. That happens there. My members and YouTube members know they have a coupon codes to get readings with me, to get discounts. What else? What else? This came in the mail today. Vedic astrology is changing my life along with Persian astrology. Didn't plan on that, studying this stuff. All of a sudden I'm involved and my world's going to change. Very excited about that. What my dasa that I'm in, for those who follow my moon, actually has to do with Saturn, Mercury for the year, which is not a surprise. The types of information I'll be absorbing and hopefully what comes out of that type of wisdom that will humble me and give me deeper structure. Also came in the mail today is a funny little magazine, Today's Astrologer, and this is by the American Federation of Astrologers, one of the oldest astrological organizations in the United States. I joined them this year. They're a humble little place. If you happen to be in Tempe, Arizona, you're in the Phoenix area, you have a major pillar in the astrology world sitting there in a building with a massive library and books to sell, and they're looking for new members. I think they're having a party here next week in person. That's American Federation of Astrologers. They just sent me their interesting, funny Christmas issue, which was such a surprise today. I love it. And so yeah, that came today. Along with something else that came in the mail that made me laugh. But yeah, there's some articles in here. What else is going on? 2 things. I've been very fortunate in my life to just have things come my way. Obviously, I have my new honeycomb that's going to start here in February, honeycomb planners. If you're interested in astrology planners, there's 2 that I recommend. Give me a second, I'll show you the other one. You guys could probably still hear me. I'm walking to another part of where I'm staying here. And I want to know if this works. Yeah, I'll do that. You guys could probably hear me here. You don't know where I am, but that's the cool thing about wireless technology is I could walk around and you can hear me and I can come back on screen. And so basically here is the magic of eye planners that you know about too. These are 2 of the top planners I'm into. They're both different, but there's an amazing person and couple there south of Australia and Tasmania that makes these. You've probably seen these. They have a smaller planners too. They're beautiful. They got a deal going on. If you're looking to enhance your astrological viewing and transits, they're great. They work in different ways. This will be custom to your own chart. I don't make any money off of this, of what I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you the things that are preparing me to help to do transits for the year, that types of things. There's books and all that kind of stuff, and I will save that for the beginning of the year. Besides that, I think I needed to pontificate in my own way. I saw a manipulator on the screen. I saw this thing happening. I'm like, you know what? Instead of getting down and out about it, instead of being like, ugh, and scrolling the other way, I'm like, I'm going to go live and see who shows up and speak the truth of what I see astrologically and what's going on. And most importantly, remind you of how incredibly powerful you are and what you can access within yourself. And whatever tools, whether it's using astrology or whatever that you use, to remember this. You know, I was going to try to do 12 rising sign videos. I don't know if I could do this because I'm overwhelmed with work right now and things like I always am. But if I were to say something in a way for next year, and I'll be repeating this in the next 2 months on YouTube. But if I were to say anything for you to focus on, when it seems that all is lost, when it seems like, can it get any worse? And it probably will in some ways. Could you believe in one particular thing? And the word is wonder. Write it down right now. Write it down, is wonder. Can you still find wonder in yourself and in the world? Can you still be open to that? Can you let it permeate you when it doesn't seem like there's anything, in a sense, it seems hopeful or optimistic? Can you find the wonder in life? Because if you think about this, the times that you've found wonder, or it was propelling you, what came from those places? Inspiration and ideas and freedom, really. But you can't stop wondering or wanting to wonder. And sometimes we have to wander to do that. Sometimes we have to take risks and take chances, so we have the exhilaration that comes when we're filled with wonder, or we're excited because we came upon it and we are excited and inspired. And when you do hit those places and there's others in your life that are not in the same space, or it seems like what you're seeing externally isn't happening, that's when you double down on something like that. And from that place, whatever you do and whatever you create and whatever you do, it could be walking on the street wondering, like, oh man, like that. And that's when it seems wild. Like, are you deceiving yourself because the world seems like it's falling apart, or those around you who might not be feeling this? And because they're feeling weird about it, they might see you in a place of awe and wonder and being inspired and created from that place. And, you know, whether they love you or not, will somehow roadblock you or try to take you down, or they don't mean to, or some mean to, whatever. And you have to be like, hey, you know, sorry about that. I got to go this way. You know, I'm a believer that you sort of have a choice. I mean, you sort of have a choice in things, but you do choose what to do with your mind. And what happens from those places sometimes affects you when you walk out the door. And hopefully will affect you when you make a social media post. But honestly, I think you have more depth and currency if it's not that, if it's something that wonder brings you to a place of making something, creating something. Or it's the subject matter that you found yourself in absorbing and then needing to share with the world, and whatever that subject matter and whatever that truth is that you've found and what it does to you, and to let it overtake you, in a positive way, because that's what we do. We are people that are absorbing, and we're psychic, and we're absorbing, and whatever we absorb affects us. And then whatever we say to each other affects ourselves. And if you might as well take the philosophy of being in wonder when all seems lost, that's where change happens for you, and I think what happens to the world. And so when we get to a lot of the air planets, Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius doing their trine, and then we're going to do Saturn and Neptune and fire, and Jupiter and Leo. We're hitting this air and fire place, and it is about expression. And you might as well be expressing from a place of wonder instead of a place of fear. And a lot will be expressing themselves from a place of fear. Or you can, when fear does come up, when you are standing from that place, can you take a risk to express regardless? And can you do it from a place of inspiration and wonder? And if it's even where you have to rebel, or you're angry at what external forces have brought your way, to suppress you even more, to challenge you. You know, what would you strategically do in situations like that? What type of tools would you use to deflect or to take in, reabsorb, and push back? That's where you become ingenious in how you do that, of how you could take a negative force and take it and turn it around and turn it into something else, you know? And so for me, that's what's on my mind is like, I can't forget on this YouTube channel or with my clients or whatever else I've learned, especially in the last 4 years, when I've been cynical and down and out, or clients come to me. Sometimes it is what it is. They're harsh situations when I talk with my clients. But sometimes down the line, after the session's over, I see the emails they sent me. Wonderful things happen. Little things. Things that put them back on some other path. You know? So for me, if I were to look at the transits of next years of air and fire and the sextiles that create, and if you're going to use astrology, look at how different ways of using your intellect, right? The pursuing with your intellect in a way that is not scattered, but in a way that excites you, in a way that brings you that sense of wonder, right? And then as humans, we're running on mystery and wonder all the time. That's what we do. And when we deviate from that place is when I think we get stagnant and we do stupid shit, right? I think too, to be at the end of this, I think a lot of times when there are those who are lost, who do things, and we think about it politically, who have to suppress other people, fuck with other people's lives and their basic human rights, dignity of people. They lost wonder a long time ago. Their fuel, there's resentment and anger. And truly at the heart of it, just immense sadness, right? So when you're catching stuff like that, I'm not saying you turn the other cheek, but it's like, however you do, defend or take steps forward or move and deflect, you could do it with a smile on your face. You could do it with a ha. You know, you could do it where like, you know what, I don't even have to engage with you actually. I don't even have to deal with this anymore or go on that comment section or go into that group of people or do whatever. I did that for a bunch of years. I'm over here. See you later. You're doing it with a strut and a smile because wonder is guiding you, mystery is guiding you. So for me, that's my intention for next year is to remember that. And when I forget about it, hopefully some of you in the comment sections remind me of it, okay? Or my channel members or my friends or my fellow colleagues. And I'll be doing it. I'll be doing my own type of preaching and it'll be based on something like this. Because in the end, what do you have to lose? When it seems like you've lost already, what do you have to lose? And if you have nothing to lose, you might as well do it in that way that I'm talking about. Several years ago, when Pluto went in Aquarius and we had all that, 2 years ago, I did these live streams, 2 Februaries ago. I call it something obsessions. And I had my slides that I put up, right? The slides are like, well, why is this dude do this stuff? You know, and here I am again, you know, to say I'm talented enough, right? These crazy slides that I have. And it's like, do I even have the I don't even know if I have I think, give me a second here, if I can move through the slides. There it is. I trust myself. You know, I've been preaching on this channel for 2 years, 3 years. You know why? It has to do with what I'm talking about because I've been waiting for this year to take the next steps with these slides. Am I prepared? Yes, you're prepared now. After 2 years, we've been talking on this channel. And when it comes the end of January, when all those planets leave Capricorn and they go through Pluto again, now you know after 2 years we've been talking on this channel. Now you know, and the transits support it. We're going into fire and air. No more wishy-washiness from going to the past with retrograde planets and moving forward and having to go back, you know, whatever. No, now we're going to do it here next year, and now we're prepared, right? You know you're talented. You've been working on this shit. We've been talking about it on the channel. Now you trust it, right? So it's like, it took a couple years. It took a couple years. It took me a couple years. We had to let things fall where they have now. Now we say goodbye. And now we go on the wonder trail. You know what I mean? We're on the wondrous trail. And when it's all crazy in the politics and there's going to be people fighting in wars, like, what do you choose to do? You're powerful enough. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what you would do. I started this rant saying, you're powerful. You know what you have. At this point, you know what you have. You're prepared yourself. You trust yourself. You know what's up. So when you take the actions here in the next 2 months and they don't understand and whatever else, say you're on the wonder trip. Say you're on the mysterious fucking tour that you're going on, right? And that you'll see them at the crossroads when they catch up with you, when they figure it out, right? So saying that, thank you for everything, you guys, for listening to me today. Dora Destroy, all the people that come in on the chat. I want to thank everybody that just goes with the flow with me. I don't know if I'm going to leave this one up. I might edit it or something. All right. Let me say goodbye to everybody in chat here. And yeah, let me... Hey, Gail, I see Gail is in here. Gail, what's up, my friend? I don't have to tell you. I have to tell you. Oh, Gail, I got something coming your way. It's going to blow your mind. Something that happened to me today. When it's official, I'm going to let you know before it happens, Gail, for you and for our Aries friend, okay? Something you're going to really, you're going to have a smile about. So saying that, and that will be public. It has to do with an old friend of ours and a couple lectures that I found and sort of got permission to post about an old friend of ours. Yeah, who's always with us. So saying that, yeah. Oh, Megan's here. Good to see you in chat. I got all some channel members here that really dropped in on my thing. JD is here. Another channel member, I see you. Mani's here is saying they're courageous enough. Chat, everybody who jumped in for a late night, midweek mercurial live stream. Have a good balsamic phase, okay, to all this. And I'll be putting out a weekly here, hopefully next couple days. I'm trying to get to 1,000 views on each video. It's very hard, but I'm trying. But I'm happy with the growth of the channel this year. I kind of come back a little bit, and I'm happy, man. I'm just like, whatever. I got good things in my life. I got a lot of work, a lot of fires that I put out constantly, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. On that note, I'll see you guys on the next video. Again, my channel members, my $5 and $10 tiers, or you can join on YouTube. I'm going to do open house Sunday on Patreon or on Zoom. Open house on the 21st when the solstice happens. And yeah, and some other videos coming your way. I see something here. Oh, I see. Oh, hey, well, let's get to it here. I see here, Arabesque. Oh, thank you for the super chat. I love these little thingies right here. I love these animations. You could see. Yeah, thank you so much. Arabesquemos. I can't even say that. How do you say that? But I know you're a regular here. Appreciate the donation on the stream. Yeah, I think I'll shave tomorrow. I think I'll shave tomorrow. I believe. I believe. Yeah. Peace and compassion, I believe. Yeah. What if on the Sag new moon I said that I, going forward, want to be with my friends and crew, wherever new people come across in my world that believe in compassion, love, and peace. We're still strong, and we don't just turn the cheek the other way, but We believe in actions that are good, happy. Yeah, what if I said that to the world or to the universe on the new moon? What if I pledged my heart to that? Yeah. What if?